Hi everyone, Mira here again. Imagine you're trying to find out what eReus students think about campus food. You could never ask everyone, so how do you decide who to ask? That's where sampling methods come in. Previously, we talked about the difference between a population and a sample. Since it's difficult to work with the entire population, we typically work with samples, or subsets of the population. Recall that samples need to be random, representative of the population, and unbiased. The sampling methods we discuss here can help us accomplish this. I said before that a sample should be random, meaning every member of the population has a chance of being selected. So, if we only surveyed students living in the dorms, then not all students have a chance of being selected. Not only do we want everyone to have a chance, we also want every group of the same size to have a chance. This is called a simple random sample. I know it's hard to see the difference, so let me explain. Imagine this class is my population, and I want a sample of 2 students. I could label the tables with numbers 1 to 8 as pictured. Then have a random number generator pick a number, and those sitting at that table will be my sample. This would be a random sample, since every member of the population, or class, has a chance of being selected. But it is not a simple random sample. While the groups of 2 that sit at the same table have a 1 in 8 chance of being selected, this group of 2 has no chance of being selected, since they're not sitting at the same table. This means not all groups of 2 have the same chance of being selected. There are several methods you statistics experts can use to get random and simple random samples that are representative of the population. We will discuss them here. Which sampling method you use depends on a lot of factors, including the study design, availability of participants, and your particular research question. The methods we'll discuss are systematic, stratified, cluster, convenience, and voluntary response. In a systematic sample, we start with an ordered list. Then choose a random starting point. Next, choose an interval. For example, every 5th person. This is our sample. Sometimes we want every important group represented. For example, when determining what kind of food to offer in the school cafeteria, we may want to be sure we include students from every class: freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. In this case, a stratified sample is the way to go. In a stratified sample, we group the population by a particular characteristic, in this case, class, and we select a few from each group. In a cluster sample, we choose an entire group. For example, in surveying resident students, we may choose an entire dormitory as our sample. Other examples include using everyone in randomly chosen zip codes or airports. A convenience sample is when we use subjects who are readily available, like surveying students as they enter the coffee shop. This sample is convenient and easy, but may actually not be representative of the population. A voluntary response sample is when subjects decide whether to participate, like a survey sent to all students via text or email. Some will respond, some will ignore it. The problem with a voluntary response sample is usually only people with strong opinions respond. Therefore, it may not be representative of the population. In this lesson, we have talked about various sampling methods. But remember, no single method is perfect in every situation. The best choice often depends on your research question, resources, and the population you want to study. That's it for today, and remember, always question the data.